Hello, everybody. Welcome. Happy New Year. Wherever you are in the world, I'm so glad you're joining, and I hope you're warm. We are freezing here, and it's quite the change that we're used to. So, I'm hoping everybody's bundled up wherever you are, and what a start to the new year. Um, I love this show topic because when we go from the end of the year into the beginning of the next, where, we've tidied up everything before, we're, tidying up all the loose ends, and then we all go through this vortex together uh, globally into the new year. And all of a sudden, I feel like we're standing here and we're going, oh, I can feel this beginning, and it's a new moment. So this topic of animals and new beginnings is perfect because they are here to help us, you know, into the moment. Because for them, every moment's new. There's not a moment that is not new to an animal. And for me, when I'm thinking about it, what words would come to mind, I guess, if I say new beginning? What does that mean? So let me throw out some, ideas to you. Um, so new beginnings, openings. What about potential? What about possibility? What about fresh start? If you're listening and you're thinking of words, help me. This is like throw the words on the board kind of game. Opportunity. What about second chance? Would that fall into the category of new beginning, you think? Day one? What's the energy of a new beginning? Is it nervous excitement? Is it a little hesitation? Usually new beginnings, we're all about those, right? We love new beginnings. How many of you ever say new ending? Like, really? No, you don't. So that has sort of that, I get another chance. I'm into a new moment. I get to create something new. And like I said, the animals have that ability to completely live in the present moment, and they bring us into the space with them if we tune in to them. Claire, that's a good one. New joys. I like that. Yeah. Yeah. I like that. So I would say it's a positive way to look at things, and almost like we get to write a new script, not even rewrite a script. You get to create things into the new year. So how do the animals live as if every moment is a brand new moment? I mean, how do they do that? They come in that way. Children and animals have that ability, and they bring us to that presence, which, if you think about it, if we didn't have that, we'd probably be just untethered and floating up somewhere. So how many of you have gone in the mailbox or run to the grocery store only to come home and your pet is like so excited? It's like you've been gone for years. They haven't seen you, and how are you? They live so much in the present moment that every moment opens up. Um, Claire says they don't have expectations. That's that is so true, and Claire, it's an interesting thought, because are you saying they don't they don't project onto the moment? Yeah, they don't project onto the moment, so therefore every moment's kind of like a discovery zone, right? Um, so what if we approach life like they do? What would that look like? How would we even do it? How do they do it? Staying so grounded and so together in the space of where they are. Let's take a look at actually how they do that. And maybe we can borrow some of the things that they do or that they exude, so that we can then have our new beginnings in every moment and really appreciate where we are, what would inspire the new beginnings in our life. And, what we would want to bring in more of with the relationships with our pets. What do you want to create with your pet this year? What kind of relationship do you want to have? What would be different? And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, because we all may be different than each other in what we want. And Claire saying, I would love to filter out the noise to enjoy the moment. That is really, really good, to filter out the noise. How do they do it? I think that they are inclusive of, it's like they notice, but they don't necessarily react to it. Whereas we are tuning in all different places and we get distracted and our consciousness goes to that particular point and then we tune out. We don't even know what we were thinking about to begin with. I'd love to know how your pets have inspired you in any new beginnings in your life. Like, what were the new beginnings with your pet? Think of, if you've had one, if you've had two, if you've had several, how did they inspire you to a new beginning? What did they cause to come up in you? And did that deepen your connection with them? If you take how you relate to your pet in the past and in the last year, what do you want to bring forward? What do you want more of? Do you want to be closer to others? Do you want to deepen your connection with them, with yourself? And Claire says to open up to others. Do your animals, Claire, open up to others well? Do they show you how to? Oh, interesting. So so what you admire in your animals is what you are capable of in yourself. You have it already, or you wouldn't even notice it in another. And I see we've got another joining us. And Roxy says, I agree with Claire, to open up to others. I love that. I really, really love that, because it's something that requires us to realize when we're not opened up. Are you aware when you're not opened? Are you consciously aware? Or is it just default? So if the animals can show us how to open up, they're like, oh, this is easy, I can do this. Then if you look at it, every relationship is a fresh start. Every relationship, every encounter at the grocery store or just anywhere, the Amazon driver, fresh starts everywhere. And so if you approach it that way, it offers an opportunity for a renewal in every moment. If you're consciously bringing yourself back to that piece of, and I think the Course in Miracles says, every moment's a holy moment. Absolutely, because we have chance, we have opportunity, and who am I in this moment? And then we can look at our animals and we can see that. And like Claire said, her animals being much more open with people. I really like that. And I am going to try to create more of that in this year. That's what I want. So it's really good to, I guess, track where you've been, what your relationship is at the moment with your pet, or with animals in general. And then how do you expand that out further? What kind of things do you need to do? So for those of you who have welcomed a new pet into your home, think about that fresh start. And that's usually easy for us. We can say, when so-and-so came to me, this is what I was doing, and this is what it opened up in me. So it's a really good fresh start. And so while you're adjusting, though your pet is adjusting to a new environment, they're doing their new moment thing, a new environment, and you're entraining your energy together, and you're learning their unique personality traits and their needs and their quirks. Recently, I had there's somebody who rescued a lab in the desert and finally got her. She was pregnant and spent weeks trying to get this dog. Somebody might have dumped her. And she ended up having her puppies in the desert. And then she was able to get her. Yeah, it was like 11th hour. I think it was like right at New Year's Eve, like right on it. So it was like this New Year's miracle of getting this mother dog. And when she came into her care, she relaxed, she calmed. I mean, she was just so relieved to be, somebody to look after her. She wasn't scared anymore. And I have found that with animals that are on the run like that, they actually are so relieved when they get caught, right? It's too much. It's too much out of control. There is no structure. And she was also able to get all, I believe, 7 puppies. So now she's got this mama and these 7 puppies. And mom's doing really great. She is a really, really good mother, probably a very young mother, as she's adjusting. And it's only been, what, a few days since New Year. She doesn't want to walk on a leash. She freezes and she can't move forward. She splats herself down. And I think the person that had her said, "Hey, this is what dogs do. Let's go. We walk on a leash." So she reached out to me, and I've had many animals come over the years and watched how they acclimate to new surroundings and new beginnings. And I think the biggest thing is what Claire said, they don't have expectations on the moment. We have expectations about where they should be. Right. So I think the rescuer's thought is, that's normal. Dogs walk on leashes. I even put a harness on her, but she's not ready. And she's busy adjusting to being a mother, to being not in the desert anymore, to having food. I mean, it's a whole process of adjusting. And she asked me about it, and I said, well, my suggestion is to give it some time. Usually it takes animals a few weeks after they've been in those kind of like traumatic circumstances. And each day you're going to see she gets more comfortable. And if nothing really is expected of her, then she can relax and breathe and feel into what she's ready for next. And I think that's the part of the new beginning. We get so excited and we want to move the new beginning forward. We want to move the moment, but it's really a discovery on both sides. She's discovering what about her, and the dog, she named her Eve because she was found on New Year's Eve. It's a really sweet name. And the puppies are just gorgeous. She's discovering herself as a mother. She's discovering herself in a home. What does it mean like to be in a home? To interact with people. She is so very loving. And so it was all saves a really good save. But yes, Claire, that's great. It's like feeling the dog or being the dog to understand that. And they're really no different than we are. I mean, really, think about us getting thrown. If you had been wandering in the desert for weeks, and then you got rescued, and you've probably seen on the news where people have been found after wandering in the hikers and woods, and they're it's a daze situation. And I feel like that's what she is in right now. But every day she's warming up more, and the new beginning for her keeps renewing itself over and over and over again. So if we just stay in that space, it's discovery. It's discovery on both sides. And she'll walk on the leash when she's ready, or, it's just not now. And it's important for us to remember not to rush things, not to push things ahead of where they really are. And it's going to take us to be anchored in that new beginning, to feel that. Marge says, I remember it took a while for Isla to walk on leash, and it was for her safety as I live in the woods. Yeah, and that's the same thing with my friend who rescued her. She said she can't just run around, and I don't want her to run off. And right now, I saw a post right before we went live where she's digging in these holes, and apparently it's like the rabbits live underneath that. So my friend is like, oh no, she's digging after these rabbits, because maybe she had to do that while she was in the desert. And so she's going, oh no, my cats. But if you just stay with it and help guide, you can feel into what the animal's feeling and what they're actually wanting. And so every moment is a chance to deepen your bond. Every single moment is. You might share that moment of quiet connection with them and notice something new about your pet. So would that be something on the list of, oh, I'd really like this year too? I'd like to notice something new about you that I don't know. Show me something. And they will. They'll show you something that'll just make you laugh, or you'll discover that they've got something deeper that they're desiring. Roxy said, I never push any expectations on any animal or pet. I find it is so important to allow them the time they need to adjust to any changes they may need, and just allow it to happen naturally. Yes, I couldn't agree more. I was sharing with a client, and I've got one that wants up. she's going to join the show. This is Poppy. um, I was telling her I have a dog named Cookie, and Cookie's a lab, and she's super athletic, and she had her all over in space, and then Finn came, and Finn's a yellow lab. And I felt I was meant to work with him. He came to me, and when I didn't try to make them, I was like, "Hi, Cookie, this is Finn," and introduced them, but I didn't force them to be friends or anything. And I told her, I said, this is your area. If you want to be friends with him, that's fine. Well, I'm not going to push that on you. And I know I'm meant to work with him. However, let's see how it rolls. And she had this strong reaction, didn't like him. And I kind of knew then that when she did have that kind of strong reaction, that I wouldn't be surprised if they aren't the best of friends later. So in the end, over time, a couple weeks, I would walk out with her and throw the ball, and I would bring Finn on a leash, and she was super focused on the ball, and he was just happy to like be hanging out, very easygoing guy, like the Pillsbury Doughboy type. And sure enough, they've turned out to be the best of friends. But had I rushed it before Cookie was ready, it wouldn't have turned out so well. So it's like being patient with where you are in the moment, and you can create those new routines together. Claire says Poppy feels like she's my co-host. She actually is. Both of them are about want to sleep. So how would it feel to you to approach your pet every single day as if it were a new moment? Is that something you'd want to do? And then, of course, how do you do it? What would you do differently? How would you, like for now, even in the midst of sharing with you, we've got a little co-host that has decided to join, and it's in the moment. So if we're fully there, it just unfolds naturally. There's nothing really that happens that's wrong. So what would you do differently this year to create a different relationship with your pet? Think about that a minute. I'd love to see in the comments. Deanna, with Buster coming back, it's all like starting over again with all of them. Yes. So Deanna has had puppies that went out to their homes, and Buster is a be back. He is like the boomerang that came back, and he's having to start from scratch. And it is a new beginning. It's a new beginning for Deanna, new beginning for Buster as he reacclimates in his new but familiar surroundings with a sibling that he hasn't been around for a couple of months. So it's that kind of navigating those waters to realize I can't expect things to be the way they were, because life has changed and energy has moved forward. And what is being called upon now? So, if we bring new things, do you want to do more with them? Do you want to strengthen your relationship with them? What new things? Marge, you may have some thoughts on what you would have with Isla, what you learned with her over her lifetime, and what new things you discovered with her. Because here's the deal. Even if your pet has passed, you can still access this. You can still access the energy of what are all the things that I noticed, and did I notice them in their lifetime, and or am I just noticing those things new? It's like, notice what you notice, but when you're going through it, you might not have tracked it. So what, the relationship after they pass actually deepens. It can grow even more in its depth and its ability to enhance your life, because when they pass, that form is gone, but now we have access to everything that was underneath that we may not have seen. Claire says it doesn't feel forced when you look at each moment fresh. Right. Yeah, it doesn't feel forced. And, we can usually feel when we're forcing something. We can usually feel that we're pushing our agenda onto another being, or even onto ourselves with whatever pressures. What if we enter each moment with the pressure of, I'm just here to be myself, which is what the animals do. She's Claire, I feel with Pika, passed, her teachings are stronger now. Yes, and they do become stronger because you don't have the active movie going. The movie's kind of ended in the way it has, but the sequel, this is a sequel, is what's continuing. And it can be very enriching. Um, even now with some of the ones that have passed, I just had one recently pass on December 30th, and she was 19. She was part of a little dog group and little trio. And prior to her passing and her transition, Katie and Murphy were coming closer. I could feel their energy and coming closer. I'm like, you're here to bring little Zoe with you. And then a couple of days before she actually, excuse me, passed, they came to me in a dream together and shared with me that they would be with her. So that in itself is a new moment. And being with Zoe, it's a moment I can't duplicate. It was a new moment. So to be present and really appreciating where you are when you are, it deepens your life. It takes you from the surface into what really matters most. What really matters most is our relationships and our family and our time with them. And what did it mean? So if you look back on, there's so many things with little Zoe I really, really loved. I loved her spunk. She was, she was just spunky. And she had such a liveliness to her. So all those things I noticed, A, I probably have in myself, but B, maybe she was reminding me that I needed more. So that's the kind of gift that keeps giving, that you can carry forward into the new year. Maybe you'd like to experience new activities with your pet. What would that be? What would that look like? What do you want to do? Do you want to go on hikes? Do you want to go for rides in the car? What do you want new with your pet that you haven't yet experienced, that if they were to pass, you'd go, oh God, I wish I had? What would that be? Would it be spending more quality time with them? What would that look like? Is that being quiet? Is it going out in nature? Is it taking them or watching a movie in the living room with them? What does quality time mean to you? What does it mean in your own life? Because that's also what the animals are pointing us to. Now, Janet, she said, oh no, Zoe. Zoe, I know, 19. But she, obviously with Katie and Murphy, she was very, it was time and she was ready. And I could feel this beautiful soul reunion. It's like the committee came forward. So I love that. And I always want you to remember that we never are alone when we pass. And we always have a committee of sorts greeting us, especially the animals too. Marge says, I remember when I rescued her. She didn't know how to play, made me cry, and thinking how she didn't know love. I would have loved to see her play more. I did see her in a dream a few days ago, and she was running around like crazy in the yard. I love that. That is a great dream. Was that before the new year, Marge, or was that right at the new year? That'd be curious for me to know, because a lot of times we'll have, kind of specific, very vivid dreams right before these junctures that we go through. Player Station, we're looking at agility with Jeff, excitement for us both. Does that mean you're looking for more movement for yourself as well? So moving energy and moving the body. Oh, I love that. So if you do look back at your time with your pet, and let's say you do have Jeff, and now what things did you not do with Kika or Bronny that you want to do with Jeff? And that's the beauty of the gift that keeps giving, and we can keep growing on what we learned from them. And that's actually bringing you closer to them as well, because you're receiving the gifts that they're offering now in spirit. I love that. Being more present in your daily routines. I know Jeff has a trigger now, and he had Daisy, and he would always take walks with Daisy. And even after she passed, he would go on these long walks, and he would feel her with him. bringing her into the present moment, where it says, I think it was last Friday. My days are all mixed up. Was that the third? So new beginnings, new energy. Perfect message for the new year that Isla gave you. If you do mindful walks with your pet, where do you do them? Do you do them on a busy street? Do you take them in the woods? Do you go buy some water? And if you take them on mindful walks, what kind of reactions do they have? Like, what do they do on those walks? Because that's also something to pay attention to kind of, when I'm biking, which is not now because it's too cold. I watch people walking their pets, and they slow down. They're not trying to hurry them, and the pet is kind of meandering, sniffing this or that, or looking at. But I've noticed it slows their people down as well, and it's like paying attention to your breath. It slows your system down, so the animals can really, really help us de-electrify our nervous systems in that way. Do you want to communicate with your pet in a different way? That is something that, if you think about it, with our communications with each other, can't we all communicate a little better every day? And how are we not communicating what we need, or sharing our feelings? And the animals are wonderful to be able to help us, like Claire says, be with them to sense what it is they need and sense how they are relating to a particular moment. And a lot of time it's not asking them necessarily, it's just feeling into where they are and sensing. Deanna with Buster is sensing what he needs. And she just saw him a few days ago, and she could sense that A, he was probably coming back, and B, what is it he needs now? And it's a good question to ask yourself too, to be so aware of, what do you need now in this moment? So noticing their emotions, their body language. And it's interesting because Deanna shared with me that Buster was all kind of constricted when she saw him. And then when she went to pick him up, he opened up, and he was hugs and kisses. So, it's such relief when we can be ourselves, right? When we don't feel that we are making ourselves smaller, constricting ourselves, having to live up to somebody's expectations. So if we watch how they are just, unbridled joy, and like Poppy's reaching up here now. She knows I'm doing this, but she doesn't care. She wants up on my lap now so she can go to sleep. It's just being who you are. They offer us that ability to be authentic with ourselves. And Claire says, when she goes to the dog park, I have the beautiful opportunity to stand and observe and feel. I call it my Tami moment. I like that. I have been known, when I had a furniture store, one time, salespeople, I don't know, it just hit me. I decided that they were not very present. So I just gave everybody like, hey, we're going to go outside. So they're in the middle of things, and I'm like, no, let's step outside. So we all go outside, and they're looking at me like, what? And I was like, look up, look around. And it was because all I wanted them to do is just to come in the moment and not be pushing so much, and not be trying to make that sale. Be where you are, and bring that forward into the moment. And it makes it so much richer. But yeah, they thought I was a little like off, but that's all right. I guarantee you they remembered that moment. Leslie says, I'm worried that I have not had a dream about any of my three that I have crossed the bridge. Oh, I wouldn't worry about that, because animals come in different ways. It's not always through dreams. I personally have dreams. I don't always have them though. I can go through long periods and I don't have them. I have found with dreams, my pets come through in dreams when there's a need. It's not when I'm needing it as far as wanting it. It's when there's a need. For instance, Zoe getting ready to pass. The team gathered. They wanted to let me know they would be there. And then I might not hear from them for a while. Or they'll come in a session when I'm talking to somebody, and they're like, tell them this story, or, you can feel their energy forward. So if you pay attention, Leslie, I bet there's other ways that they're trying to connect with you, that you may not have noticed. So try to take your take the worry off the dream. And if you're going to reframe it, what I would do is just say, wow, that would be so cool to have a dream. Wow, that would be just great. And just go into this like, I wonder if I could have so much fun. Would it be fun? Like their energy after they pass is a very high. James and Prague always said it was like, uncorking a champagne bottle. And so we're like, I had a dream. We're like down here, and they're like, but yes, here, can't you see me? So if you can lighten up on that and just say, I'd love having a dream, and I'd love having any kind of sign, like, show me something that I'm going to know specifically. I had a client not too long ago who was really upset. She hadn't had any dreams. She hadn't had any, signs. And so as we're talking, she starts telling me just almost like she forgot and said, oh, and this happened and that happened. And I saw this, and I'm looking at her and I'm like, that, what you just shared is a very specific sign for you. And you missed it because you were looking too much over here. You expected it to be something else. So animals are, and spirit, human animal, they're going to come in the ways that are not necessarily on demand. Now, you can play a game and say, oh, I think it'd be so much fun I'd like to see a ladybug kind of feel. That's that, you see how that's a playful energy? It's not a demanding energy. It's not a have to. So Leslie, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And if you want to also, I'm thinking for you to jumpstart that a little bit. I'm seeing you write something. So I'm wondering if you started to write a little bit about what would you like to see in a dream? Why don't you script your dream? Script the dream you'd like to have. That's going to connect you to the energy of that playful imaginative realm, which is where this is accessible. And we all have that. Hi, Jennifer. It's good to see you. It's okay. You come in late. You're always welcome. Janet says, new beginnings with Grace. She has let me know it's time to let go of her bed. She has instructed me to donate it to the shelter that I found her in. I've had to take baby steps with her communication, but will follow through soon. I'm curious, how do you know that? How did you get that transmission and that message? How did it come to you? Did you have a dream and she spoke to you? Was it kind of a knowing that dawned on you one day? That's another way they give us signs and messages. We think we're just thinking this stuff. No. They're communicating with us and we overlook it. And Deanna says, it's like, and I think she's talking to Buster, he got the message from the universe that I was coming to get him, and he was so very ready to go. The other piece of this, Deanna, is because you stepped forward for him. So when we step forward for an animal or a human, or we make a decision, then that allows the energy to flow directly where it needs to, and things open up. You're not in that limbo space. So that's another, piece to think of if you're creating new intentions for the year, is what are you stepping forward toward? That's also good to think about in day-to-day. What are you doing day-to-day stepping toward? Because it may not be something you really want to be doing at the time. Do you want to do new adventures with your pet? What would that look like? And I'm all about writing because it activates the part of yourself that is deeper. If you see somebody live, and then you see, like me, and then you see my writing, I'm giving you a peek into my inner world. You get to see underneath that. You can see that because I always bring whoever I am, wherever I am, so I don't segment off a part of myself. However, it goes even deeper. So when you write, you're tapping into a deeper space. Even if it doesn't matter whether you think you're a good writer or not, writing from the heart does not require any kind of skill. If you let your heart talk, it's like, okay, I got this. I'll take over. Are you going to create some rituals? Like, do anything special? Start meditating with your pet. I know several of you have shared that you meditate with your cats and your dogs, and you're just amazed at how they know when you actually are ready to sit down. They're like, okay, it's time, and they do the same. You're going to try any new Claire, you're thinking of agility. Try new games, try new fun things to keep it fresh. And whatever it is you're thinking about doing with your pet as new beginning, it's because you're craving that in yourself. It's a reflection of what you need as well. So pay attention to the reflective part of that. So again, any of you want to bring new things in? Janet, do you want anything new with the squirrels? Any new types of communication you want to do with them? Marge, what are you thinking? And I know Isla isn't with you, but what do you want to create new? Marge says it's like being drawn to an animal hospice. Oh, I'm being drawn to an animal hospice in the area. I want to go and volunteer, but don't feel my heart can take it yet. Oh gosh, I love this because that's one of the ways that we move forward with them. We transition with them. I had a client not too long ago, Marge, that all of a sudden after their like soul pet, soul dog passed, he was like had this enormous drive to start working in hospice. And it was because that pet was actually going to help with that, guide the process to help other animals. So I would let that that inspiration just be like, wow, this is interesting, and am I ready? And keep taking the pulse if you're ready for it every day. Am I ready yet? I'll bet you'll start warming up to it, and you'll be guided to when to actually start. New beginning for sure. And what I love is it's actually a continuing. It's a continuing with Isla. It's plus. It's even more than you ever dreamed of. No, you're not taking her physically in there, but you're taking her spirit in there. How many animals need support and love, especially at the end of life. Such a sacred place to be. So you have to keep us posted. And then also, Marge, I would wonder how you're going to know if you are ready. How are you going to know if your heart is ready? What's going to tell you if your heart's ready? Have you thought about that? I'd love to know if you know or have thought about it. Janet says, I was looking at the bed and heard her. It's been in my living room since she passed. When did that happen, Janet? Was that toward the end of the year, or was it right here at the beginning? Or have you been sitting with it for a while? For Zoe, she slept on Murphy's old bed, and then Katie slept on it, and then Zoe slept on it. So right after she passed, I thought, well, that bed's time for that bed to retire. And I took it and I was washing it, and then I had the strongest sense I wasn't supposed to do that. And I heard, it's an inner hearing kind of feel, to put it right back where it was, because other animals were going to, other animals in the house, the dogs wanted to use that as well. And it also carried an energy of them on it. So I understand the hesitancy piece of doing it. But if as I just shared my process of how I got the memo, you got yours. And I knew I was like, oh, I don't think I'm supposed to do that. And I put that bed right back after it got washed. So I feel really good. I also have little dogs on the bed that in case they take a tumble, it's like a big, pillow they're going to land in. Cynthia moved down the street, Janet says, and now letting go of Grace's bed, something is brewing. In every letting go is a new beginning. Embedded with every ending is a new beginning. The two go together. So if you have an ending, a fresh ending, we're calling new endings, because we're like, ooh, no, there's always there's something more coming. You're being prepared. The animals are laying groundwork. What more do we need to learn? And that keeps us in the present moment with us just the week after Christmas. Yes, on the approach road into the new year. And I don't, we're talking about new beginnings toward the end. We're doing a lot of letting go and a lot of things rush to get done. The universe is it's like chess pieces moving around really quickly. But then it carries us forward into this new space of, like I said, what do you call it? Fresh start, new beginning, potential. There's always potential in every moment. Always. Always. So if we don't dwell on the past and we move into that space, then it's like, okay, I wonder what now? What next step am I being guided to do? Susie says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you. My sweet angel Tyler leaves dimes for me. Oh my goodness. Tyler is her grandson. He placed one on my bed for me. I went downstairs to the kitchen for a few minutes and came back to my room, and there was a dime next to where I was sitting. Oh my goodness. I heard, Hi, Grandma. Oh, I'm getting all over body chills on that. I just knew it was him. 2 days later, there was a new dime in the driveway in front of my car. I guess my sweet angel is trying to help Grandma retire. I was going to say, why do you think it's a dime? Like, I'm wondering, you'll have to look it up. I'm wondering what the symbolism is for dimes, right? 10 cents. What is that? I would probably, for me, like play around with that because everything has meaning. And is it that that's so unique and specific that you would catch it? Are they shiny? Like what catches your attention? And are you looking for them or do they surprise you? Claire says, it's my onwards journey. I like to think, yeah, we're always onward, right? We're always moving forward, even though we feel like we're stuck. That energy that is a moment is constantly transforming. It's constantly flowing and moving, even though it doesn't look like that to us a lot of the times. So when we let go of like the guilt and regret that we may have had or the fear of anything and focus on the present moment, we open that door in any moment. We open it with our animals, we open it with ourselves. And so I'd like you to try something really simple. And before I do that, let me see, Leslie. My heart dog, Cisco, left on 7/8/23. And 2 months to the day, a friend reached out to me about a hospice foster that needed love in her last days. I welcomed her. She reminded me so much of my Cisco. I had 436, days with this precious creature. Was so happy that she had 436 days of love and compassion. You know what? That'd be a great chapter. That'd be a great piece that you write about her, because the animals have told me to be, whether they have a second or a minute or they have a lifetime of love, it's a rich life. It is a rich life. I would love to see you write something about that because that's profound. That actually is quite, and what a gift you were given. And a door opened up for you. Marge says, anniversary of losing Isla is coming up the 5th of February. I feel like that might be why I'm feeling called to the hospice. I would ask her to help you to open up that a little bit more so that you can get clear, feel into it. And I'm hearing she wants a celebration, not as a thing that a day that you're really dreading. Do something really special on that day. Do something to honor her. And it may be you go to hospice. I don't know. Think about what that would be and ask her to give you some ideas. And so today, I want you to spend a few minutes just observing your pet. Just observe, no mind projections. So you might have to take a few breaths and get in the moment a little bit. And notice what they're doing. Notice how they're engaging in the moment. Are they eating? Are they playing? Or are they just being? Are they just being? Which is what we probably all need more practice doing. And then ask yourself, what can I learn from their ability to be so present? What is it I need to see that I could step more into that space of being present? How can I bring that into my life? How can I bring new beginnings into my life? Well, as we talked a little bit today, set an intention. Set an intention for your relationship this year. What do you want it to be different? What feelings do you want to have? Setting the intention for your relationship with your pet opens up all kinds of doors, because then they can show you whole new sides of them that you may not have seen ever, even while they're here. So if you want to spend time together, set that intention. I want to learn something new about you. Set an intention. I'd like to create something with you that deepens our bond. Maybe you decide to go on walks like Jeff has with, Daisy and then Trigger. And that's a sacred time for them. It's the ability to connect in a way that you can't find anywhere else because it's a energetic bubble. Try something new, an activity like Claire, a toy, exploring places. All these are opportunities. Practice mindfulness with them. And we all could use that. Just sitting down and before you get going in your day, being with your pet just a minute and not rushing headlong into social media and all kinds of distractions. Because once we step in our day, I don't know about you, but then special, like quiet moment, uh, it, if I go here and I go to the grocery store, then that has changed the energy of just being with my babies. So think about that. Breathe with them. What intention do you want to set with them this year? Give that a good think. Um, and I want to tell you, just real quickly, because I'm thinking about it, that I have a special announcement that's coming out later today for those who really, really want to get to know your animal in a deeper way. Communicate with your animal. It's a communication course. So make sure you are on my newsletter list because I'm going to send out an email that gives you the specifics of the course and how to access it and what you'll learn and how to deepen your relationship. It's only limited to 6 people. So I'm really going to be able to work personally with you. I love that kind of work. And what I'm really excited about as Spirit has led me to this and the animals is that you're going to get to know what your communication language is, because I have mine and I can share what I do, and that certainly can help you with yours, and you have your own. So be thinking about that. That might be another even conversation for a live, because how do I communicate? Like, what is my style? Janet, how did you know? Or how did you hear? How do I communicate with people? Because how we communicate with each other is a lot of the ways we communicate with our pets. So just stay tuned for that. And then, I want to give you some thoughts to consider, sort of your homework for the week. It's if we want to title this, I'm all about moments mattering. Moments are so precious, and we don't, they're almost fragile, like a fragile flower. So how many of you can remember the moment that your pet came into your life? Go back into that memory, access that. And you can do this like in the quiet times. If you set some time aside. And I want to say, when you do that, you're going to be accessing that's mediumship. That's animal communication right there. You're accessing them through your memory, and you're activating that energy, which is still very much alive. Did you have a dream of them? A photo? Did a friend tell you about your pet? Zoe came to me through a photo, and she had been wandering the street. She's a little thing. She was, sort of feral when I got her. And so I had to really work on her. She had to agree to go through the door. She was a handful. Did your pet appear suddenly? How did they come in? What were the circumstances around? Access those memories, access that. And that's going to transport you into a space of, oh my gosh, I can feel you here right now. What was going on in your life at the time? Always connected. What did they come into your life to do? How many new beginnings did you have with them? Think about that one. With Grace, Janet, how many new beginnings did you have with her? With Ronnie or Pika, new beginnings. I don't know that we track life like that necessarily. We say, oh, and this is what we did. But are there moments in your life with them that stand out more than others? Pay attention to those. And it's not just, the end of life piece. A lot of times people hyper focus on that, but the animals are always like, that is a sacred journey. Yes, it is. And it's a sacred moment, and it doesn't define our relationship. What moments were there that defined the relationship? I'd love to hear all of that and more from you, because you have these wonderful connections with your pet. And when we share them with each other, then we help us, all of us help together in communicating more. And then one more thing, if you could tell your pet what the most important moment was, what would it be? If there is just one. And I would gently suggest getting something and write that down, because my sense is once you're going to start thinking of moments, you're not going to have just one. You're going to have a few more that drop in that they're going to be trying to share with you, and you're going to miss if you get up and go and move. So just remember, every relationship, whether it's new or ongoing, it's mutual growth always, even after life. Zoe will continue helping me and guiding me, and then the trio are together, and there's no telling what kind of messages they will send through. So let me know your thoughts. I really appreciate you being here today. I love the moments we created, and I love your sharing. And I will, don't forget my newsletter. And I think there's a link in the chat. Roxanna, or Roxy, you said I have a story to share. I will catch that and read that. And let me see if I can get to it probably. Hang on. After 2 years of staying home to care for my animals, finally decided to take a short trip. Before I left, I asked my beloved dog, Bela, who passed in 2024, watch over the house and the other animals and the new sitter. I know I have to do the same. I trusted her spirit to keep everything in balance. When I returned, I found a tooth on my kitchen counter. Sitter didn't know where it came from, and all the animals were fine. Then I remembered when Bela was a puppy, she lost a tooth, and I'd saved it in her file for 16 years. Oh my gosh. Spoiler alert, when I checked, the tooth was gone. In that moment, I knew Bela's spirit had been there doing exactly what I had asked, watching over everyone. What an amazing story. The tooth was her way of letting me know she was present, keeping everything in order. It was a profound moment. The bonds we share with those love never break. Their spirits stay close, offering guidance, protection, and love in ways that transcend this physical world. We are never truly alone. And when we open our hearts, we can feel their presence more clearly. That is a special moment. And that is something, don't you all agree? That's a wow. It's like, whoa, they can pretty much send us any message. So for Leslie, when you're wondering about the dreams, just be open to any message they would like to send. Well, I've enjoyed our time. I can't wait to see you next time. I think it's on another Tuesday. I want to say it's on January 21st. I'm keeping you on your toes, switching from Tuesday to Wednesday. Sorry about that. But I really look forward to seeing you next time, and hope you all have a great week. See you then. Bye.